Like I tell people in my inbox all the time, like one day at a time, one step at a time, you know, and then you turn around. I've been bodybuilding for like 2 years, turn around and you look like a whole different person. And that's what I did. So just one step at a time. And then eventually you'll become exactly the person you wanted to be.
Yo, what it do, man? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's Treau Talk in the building. And as always, we are at Legacy Sessions right here in DC, baby. And guess what? Today, we're going to give y'all our first ever done podcast, not in the studio. So this means this is a one-time situation that we've had an opportunity to bring somebody all the way in from Hawaii. You know what I mean? I ain't never been there, so now I got a reason to go because I believe she's going to be a solid friend at the end. But I want to introduce everybody to a bodybuilder, somebody that's also in the service, somebody that is incredibly intelligent, super smart, super funny, super sarcastic, and all the things. Everybody introduce themselves to Karmen. And there she is.
All right. Yeah, my whole name is actually Karmen Bosket, Karmen with a K, just in case you spell it.
I like that. See? And the sarcasm from the gate, y'all, there it is. That's what I love about it. She's like, you gonna get my name correct right now. It ain't gonna be no problems. We're gonna be good. Yo, so first of all, welcome to Treau Talks. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk to us, give everybody an opportunity to meet who you are, see why I thought you was a great opportunity to talk to you, have you on as a guest, for one. But let's start with, you are in Hawaii. So right now it is 2:40 my time. It's
8:40.
8:40
so I'm
your
just,
time.
So 6 hours behind y'all.
Yeah, okay.
6 hours.
So I'm going to give you, so this is what I want to know. I was just in LA for 11 days. I'm 3 hours behind this. And I felt like my day was longer. So like, I feel like I was getting way more done, way more accomplished on that time. I don't even know why that's a possible thing, but that's really how I felt the whole 11 days I was out there. I felt like I was eating my food faster. I felt like I was, because for some strange reason, I was just popping up at my normal time and I would just get my day started. And I'm like, do other people feel like now that they behind, they got more time in the day? Do you feel that way? Or you just feel like your shit normal?
No, I don't. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. So I'm always up.
Okay.
But no, I don't feel that way.
Yeah, I felt like my shit was long as hell. I was like, word.
That sounds like some reverse jet lag. You're
right. I was like, yo, I feel like I got all day. Like, and then like I would talk to like my children and they like, it's like 5 o'clock. Then they like, Dad, it's 8. And I'm like, oh, I still got a lot of day left. You know what I mean? So cool. I'm glad you told me that. So let's get right into it, man. So this is how I ran across your page. I'm scrolling through Instagram, something that I like do rarely when I have time. And I'm not even gonna front. Like when I first saw the post, I was stuck. I was like, this woman looked like real life G.I. Joe, Jane, whatever. Like you look like an action figure, no lie. Like I was stuck. Like I was like, man, hold on, who is this? So I click on your page and then I'm scrolling and I realize, I'm like, wait a minute, oh, she compete. So I'm starting to do my due diligence. I'm looking through your page. I done went on npcnews.com. I done looked at your results. I'm looking at like, oh yeah, I don't play no games because you got to think about it. I'm a coach too. So
it's like I went deep.
Yeah, like no lie, because I'm a coach. So in my mind, I'm like, I wanted to know what category you were in because this is my first time ever seeing you. So I was trying to figure out, based on what I saw from your initial post, like where you belong from my point of view, right? So instantly I hit the follow button because I'm just intrigued by the way you look. And then the more and more I dive into your page, I get to hear you talk. And I'm like, oh, she don't care what she say out her mouth. Like, this is raw and uncut. And I'm like, I can appreciate that because I feel like, and I feel, meaning the fitness world, we get stuck in this box where we feel like we got to be political or we got to do what the people want us to do. And to see that you also had a following, which means that let me know people also appreciated it more just like I did. So let's first get into, you clearly was an athlete all your life. So where does the athlete start? Like, what were we doing before we got to bodybuilding?
Well, I ran track since I was in 7th grade.
Okay, what events?
My mom mostly pushed that. So basically I was doing a bunch of things. I always did the 1, the 2, and I was doing a little bit of hurdles. It wasn't until I got to high school where I started getting to what I was good at, which was the 400, unfortunately.
You said the 400?
The open 4?
Okay.
We call it the quarter.
Yeah, right. I'm like, how you get from 1, 2 to 4?
I had a love-hate relationship with that. But yeah, I ran track all the way up to college, and then I realized it just wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. I just got tired. I actually don't like running. So after that, I joined the military a little after. My mom is the reason why I got into the gym. She really pushed it. She was like, maybe you should just, go to the gym. She would give me books with these really fit fitness people telling me how to do certain movements. So I was introduced to bodybuilding a little early in the gym. So I've been in the gym since at least 2012.
Okay, cool. So we run track. Fine. Now I'm pretty sure you was a real good athlete at that based on just the way your genetic makeup is. And then you get to a place where, you can just see it. Like anybody that's watching this, please go to her Instagram. Trust and believe me, you're going to be just amazed alone at what she looks like. So you get to a point where you say, hey, I'm going to compete, or someone talks to you about competing. What does that look like for you?
Well, a bunch of people will tell me. It's something I've been hearing over the years, but it's something that I'll just let God open that door for me. Okay. So I didn't want it to be forced. So it had to line up perfectly because I know when you compete like that, it's like an all or nothing. But how did I get into it? I just happened. So when I moved, I got really, it's a long story. So I was a drill sergeant prior to coming to Hawaii. But I gained a ton of weight. Like I think I was at least 190 pounds. Okay. Solid. Just. And how tall are you so people can have a reference point? You said what? How tall are you so people can have a reference point? Oh yeah, I'm 5'7". Okay, cool. So 190 by 5'7". Just, So I decided when I got here that I didn't like the way I looked anymore. Like it was just chunky. You know what I mean? So I joined this gym, powerhouse out here. And eventually one thing led to another. I just met the right people. Like the first coach I had was kind of terrible, got rid of him. And then funny thing is the coach that was attached to the powerhouse was a bodybuilder coach. He'd been competing, you know what I mean? So I linked up with him and then 7 months later, doing my first bodybuilding show. Okay, took cool. Overall in 2 categories.
All right, so let's get to that. You said everything had to line up. You had a coach, didn't really map out the way you wanted to be. That's normal. You find a fit that works for you at this particular point in time, and you go, okay, cool. I'm gonna get into competing. Based on the way you are structured, and I mean your body type, how did you figure out what direction you wanted to go in from there? Like when they say, hey, this is bikini. Hey, this is figure. Hey, this is women's physique. Hey, this is women's bodybuilding. And I'm pretty sure now they're like, hey, this is wellness. But before wellness was a thing, my question to you is, did you have a specific category that you didn't want to do on your own, or were you pushed into one?
I wasn't. At first, I wanted to do, I wanted to do women's physique, but my coach at the time was like, maybe we should just aim for wellness first. So he told me just because he didn't know what I would look like. So he just looked at me and was like, maybe we should go with wellness. I said, okay, that's fine. Eventually, the prep went well enough that he told me to enter into all three. So I entered into wellness, figure, and women's physique just because of the prep and what I look like.
Okay.
He said that you could do either one. So I did all three my first show.
Okay,
which
so
was horrible.
Great. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have never done that one before. So
yeah.
No, be honest with you.
I don't recommend.
So no, you got to think about it.
I ended up doing
let's just look
all
at it
three.
let's just look at it for real, like from textbook. There are three totally different divisions: figure, wellness, and women's physique. Like that is really, I mean, talking about being a hybrid, that's a hybrid. Like you really structurally fit in all three. And that just goes again to me just letting people know, if you ever get an opportunity to follow her, you're going to see what I mean by she looks like an action figure. Like I can see in the beginning stages the figure. I can see the women's physique. And even now I can see wellness because you have the small waist, you have the quads, you have the glutes. So my thing is, yes, all those things make sense. You go into all three. Which one felt like a better fit for you at that time?
So I fell in love with women's physique at the time, the first show. So that's what we went for nationals, just because I could show my personality more. They have that individual routine. So that's where I went. That's not where I am now. But for nationals, that's how I got my pro card, was women's physique.
Okay, cool. So you step on stage, you get into all
in my
three.
all white. I had to put that on.
Hey, y'all heard that.
I was the only one at the show in all white with white blonde hair. I just had to point it out.
So are you into like Marvel comics, like X-Men or something like that? Or you just felt like...
I'm a Storm fan. I got a whole tattoo sleeve of her. But I'm a Storm fan, but I told the person making my suit I wanted to look like a disco ball. So when I got on stage, that's all you saw was like, bam.
Okay,
disco
cool.
ball.
What show did you go pro at?
T-Neck. The one in
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Okay, so you went pro at Universe. And
what do you call it, Universe?
Yeah, they call it Universe at this point. So you do that, you go, okay, cool. And then in Hawaii, they have a Hawaii Pro. And when you go into that show, do you think about being women's physique at that moment? Do you look at the pros and go, there's somebody I idolize? Like, what are you thinking now that in that moment when you go pro? Are you thinking, hey, I want to trend this way far as like a look? Do you think about what your competition looks like? Do you think about what the muscle look like? What are you thinking after you go pro, before you get into the division that you're in now?
Oh, okay. So how I look at things is I always look at the person that's winning. I always look at what's winning, like the top three. So for women's physique, I always knew it was Natalia and Sarah. There's always a two-top Olympia.
Fact.
So I looked at them and I realized, I was like, that's a long game. That's a very long game. I can't even sit here and be like, oh, I can catch him. No, baby, that's a long game. They look insane. But yeah, I wouldn't say they were. I knew what I had to do if I wanted to keep going that route. So Sarah, that's her name, the one that's Olympia. She won at least twice, I think.
Right.
I looked at her because she was like that perfectly balanced of not too hard, not too big, just like perfect. Conditioning is always like perfect.
Absolutely.
So I always looked at her to be like, okay, that's women's physique. That's what I need to do. Natalia, on the other hand, she's just too big, too hard for me. But that's just me.
That's cool.
But before moving back into wellness, that's what my thoughts were. I always go look at the person that's number one. Like I do have like favorites, because Sarah was my favorite because she just looks complete, like a complete picture. But I always go look at the top person because that's who they said it was, that, she represents the whole division. So why not look at that person right there? Right. That's what I do.
So, and the reason why I asked you that is because there is a particular body type that I also think that you fit, and that would be Shanika Grant. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like,
I've heard this 4 to 5 times.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And I feel like she stepped away too soon. And the reason why I mean she stepped away too soon is once she lost, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, never talked to her, so I don't really know her thoughts on it at the time, other than what she's put out for the world to see, is she probably could have regained her title because structurally she was also that modeled of what you wanted to see, far as the femininity, the muscle bellies, the roundness, the conditioning, the shape, all the things, right? So when I first learned that you went pro women's physique, I said, who would I compare her to, right? Who would be the next coming? Who would she be the next coming of? And that's what I saw. I saw someone that I would feel like, if, again, structurally the way you're built at the time, because that's what I thought you were, that's what I saw that you had won in. I'm like, okay, this is Shanika Grant coming all over again, but a different version. So this is going to be dope, right? Then of course, like I said before, I'm diving through the page and I'm looking a little more, and I'm like, and what I could appreciate about you is your personality. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people do too much on Instagram, and you can see that they trying too hard, and you can see from you that this is just who the hell you are. So it was like, nah, this is a breath of fresh air, because she's not stretching something to make you believe something. This is just what she do. This is how she feel, right? So, which means now I'm looking at your body a little different, and I even reach out and I'm like, yo, wellness, like, what we, what I mean, is that the route we going? And you like, yeah, now. And I saw that right away as well. But again, I'm a coach and I'm a fan of the sport. When I say a fan of the sport, I can look at bodybuilding and cut the head off and actually look at the body and go, will this work? That's what I can do. And I'm blessed that God gave me that eye. And I thought to myself, when she steps on stage, does she think about the show that she needs to compete in to make it make sense? Because that's what bodybuilding is at this point. It's not about just pulling up to a show. It's, did you pick the right show that fits you? Because all shows don't fit everybody, because the competition is different. The ranking or tier of that show is different. So you got to think about that in your prep. I even reached out to you. Remember, I said, hey, I wish you was ready for Vancouver, because I saw the lineup. I'm thinking about where you are, and I'm like, this is the perfect show for her to make noise, because I'm looking at who the people were on that show. My point to saying all that is, when you look at moving into wellness, what drew you in to let you know, like, this can work for me, like, at this current state? Because I know by listening to you talk, you're not competing to compete. You're competing to win.
Oh, yeah.
So I learned
we don't
that
waste
quick.
no time. So actually, I was, what drew me to wellness? I mean, so this is my thought. So not saying that I will always forget women's physique, but women's physique right now, that's a long game. And I think about that all the time. Like, man, will you go back to that? Because, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not something hard to do, but you know what I'm saying? I got the, let's say, genetics for it. I got the work ethic for it. But what drew me to wellness, and because I looked at wellness and I was like, I looked at the top category and I ain't see nobody look like me. And I'm just like, that's weird. Because that's weird. And then to be honest, my mom, this is a side story. My mom, I would show her the winners, and she would look at me and she would be like, you can beat them. And I'd be like, I sure could. Cause what I'm saying? It just takes one person to beat you. You know what I mean? And I was just like, so since then, I'm doing it because, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to see if wellness, you know what I mean, is the right fit for me. I still love women's physique, and I still do. And I feel like, you know what I mean? They downplay women's physique a lot. Now, wellness probably does get more attention, but I feel like I have the body right now to like be solid in it. And then I don't see a lot of Black females up there for wellness. Most, I don't even know statistics on it, but you see a lot of Black females, you know what I mean, do figure. And then you see some in wellness, and you'll see some in women's physique, but I feel like most Black females do figure. And I purposely stayed away from figure because I was like, I just feel like I got too much ass for that to be wasted on figure.
I will contest people. She has a lot of ass. I remember
backstage when I did women's physique, somebody literally took a turn to me and was like, why can I have some of your glutes? So I was like, here you go. Like,
yeah, I will admit,
like, figure was just overloaded. And I was just like, women's physique wasn't even that heavy, but I feel like there's enough figure there's enough figure there. And I was like, wellness, there's not too many. You know what I mean? All I see is Brazilians and sprinkle of whatever else was in here. But I ain't seen nobody on the stage like me. And I was like, yeah,
here's the thing you gotta think about. And the reason why you don't see a lot of Black women in wellness is because, truth be told, when we all get lean, we're super round and we're super bubbly and we are very aesthetic. So therefore, your lean out is going to look a lot harder than that Brazilian, than the European woman, than, you know what I mean? So therefore, that's another reason why a lot of women don't jump into that wellness category. It's just because when we lean out, we just look a little bit different far as the muscle structure or the bellies of the situation. Unless you mix.
That's looking real hard.
Yeah, you're going to have a harder look.
I know.
So I think that's the structure, which means if your coach, and I tell everybody this, like, if your coach doesn't know exactly what it takes to look a certain type of way, whether you have the genetics to do it or not, it's still how that coach brings you in that day. And if the coach is not thinking about that as a sport first, you're going to probably go out there, excuse my language, shit the bed, because the judge is going to be like, yeah, I can see why you here, but I don't understand why you look like that. You know what I mean? Because now that's the truth. They're judging what you bring out that day. And that's the thing that I look at so much when I see the bodybuilding sport. I see a lot of great genetics touch the stage, but the coach didn't think about the category. They thought about, man, my motherfucking client look good. Like, she ripped, he lean, he dry, he all the things. I'm just gonna let them get up there and do what they do. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Your client looks good as hell, but they don't fit this category. So because
no, they don't. I know exactly what you mean.
This client enough that day. This client is still a little too hard or a little too dry for this category. You was too busy just proving to the world that I can make somebody look good, which, again, you get credit for. But now you don't get credit for being a great coach because your eyes didn't pass the eye test for the category. Even with me, when I see you daily, I can't wait. I'm letting everybody know. I be trying to get inside scoop. I didn't hit her up on DM like, yo, I want to see a check-in. I be trying to see, like, I'm keeping it 100 with y'all. I be trying to figure it out, what she look like in the AM, because I know what she look like in the gym, which means I know she got water in her system. I know she got food in her system. I know she got sodium in her system. So things look a certain type of way. But yes, I'm letting y'all know, I will never release it to y'all, but if I ever get a actual check-in picture so I can see what she looks like in the morning, I am going to be able to then have a better grasp on what it looks like. But staying there where we are.
The waist is, I be trying to make my waist look like Jessica Rabbit. That's literally what I be trying to do. Because I was like, if my waist looks like that compared to what my legs look like.
I agree.
Front pose is done.
It's done.
Looks crazy.
When you look at the top of the game.
Yeah, I saw.
Give me your realistic thought right now. If you was at the Olympia, because that's where we're going to speak it into existence. You're going to the Olympia. Who do you knock out the top 5?
Who the fuck is in the top 5? All I'm checking for. So I only know top 3 right now. All I know is Mateos. I know Fran. I know Nunez. And I know they call it the Hurricane, because I like the way the Hurricane looks compared to number 1, which is sad to say, because she gives that hard, dense look, and they don't like that hard, dense look. I don't know who's the 4 or 5.
Don't worry about it. So who do you knock out of the top 3?
Oh, it's probably easy to knock Nunez off. Nunez is too big at the bottom. So if you compare, because I look at it all the time. If you look at Nunez and Mateos, because I think Mateos gets second, I'm not sure. Mateos is quads and glutes it's like almost overwhelming her whole frame compared to Mateos, where everything looks like all nice and in balance and symmetry. You know what I'm saying? Even if Nunez has a bigger down, if it's bigger, it's denser and stuff like that. But something about Mateo's frame, I won't even call it perfect. It just, her division, she probably crops everything they looking for. Bam, bam. We looking for that. Bam. Shoulders is bam. You know what I mean? quads is like this, and glutes is like that. People don't understand. They're looking at a certain thing, like you said, like they got to match the division. So I think that's why Mateos keeps winning, because I think she came even a little softer this show than she did. She was harder last year. Yeah, I've been watching her.
Cool. So you see yourself.
But I would not do that all because it's so dense down there. And then plus she's short. Not that it doesn't work to her advantage, but she's short. She's so thick down there. I'm trying to get the right words. It almost looks
she's
like
round. She's bubbly.
You ever seen a Pokemon? What is
this is gonna be funny.
It almost like a Mewtwo, like that.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
No, I get it. So look, so here's my thing. Issa to me is the standard.
Oh, Issa.
That's the one you keep talking about. The one that's short. So her name is.
Oh, you talking about Newt? Oh, so I use their last name, military thing. So you talking about the short one that wore blue?
She's the standard.
I'm a friend. I'm a fan of what's it? Ringo. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of that hard, dense look, and that's probably not what they want, but something about that.
And that's why I keep trying to figure out. That's what I'm saying.
Because even Nunez she doesn't come that hard, but something about Ringo is like, she probably doesn't. I looked at her page and she said that she doesn't do upper body, but she has to be doing something because this is mad. All this is kind of big. Her abs are even more pronounced than Mateo's. Like, I don't know if she does ab work, but she's thicker in the waist than them. It still look nice though. I'm not talking shit.
And again, I get it.
I'm appreciative. I look at her page and I'd be like,
yeah. Ooh. And that's your personal preference, and that's why I respect it, you know. But this is what I have to look at. I have to look at Issa has won the Arnold. I have to look at Issa stays in the top 1-2.
Yeah.
Which means to me, when I look at what wellness is and the obtainability of what it has to be, she's next in line. When Fran says, I'll walk away, I'm the new champ. And I believe it's going to be hard to knock her off her totem pole because at the end of the day, now she's only thinking about shape. She's not thinking about muscle. She's not thinking about...
I don't have to do nothing else.
Right. This is all about maintaining and creating the illusion, right? Mm-hmm. I do want to know, knowing that your eyes are drawn to the harder, denser body, do you think about that when you pick a show? Because that matters. Like when you said to yourself, hey, I'm going to do this show, are you thinking about who has to show up for you to be seen? Because you have to be compared.
Answer the question again. Ask that last
so when you're thinking about your show, right, the one that you're prepping for right now, are you thinking about who needs to be in this lineup in order for you to get compared to be seen? Because if you go there and you stand out as a singer, if you go there and stand out as a sore thumb, if you're the outlier, chances are you won't get an opportunity to be in the top because there will be no comparison to you.
No, I never really thought about it like that. So so you know how they like to put out, so until you show me the Canada, I wouldn't even know that show was going on. Normally, I don't even look at the person competing. I know some people do look at them. I did. But since you said I should have did that show, I went and looked. I was like, oh, I know it's Quadzilla is in there. She always comes 100% hard as fuck. And I don't know why. I've been thinking about that for a couple of days. Then I looked at everybody else and I was like, okay. I was like, I still didn't know who won that show. I looked at everybody else and I was like, I don't know who the fuck won that show. But anyways, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I would have entered a show and I would have just been blind because I refused to go look at what everybody else was looking at. I mean, I guess some people do. I just don't care.
And
I don't pick shows depending on who's going to be there.
Yeah,
if that's what you're asking.
No, I don't think you should care in the aspect of like who exactly your competition is, but I think you should think about what tier level that show is. I think you should think about the exposure and who you need to show up.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah. You're talking about those. I call those high profile shows like the New York Pro.
Right.
Tampa Pro. Is it Tampa?
Tampa Pro.
Because I was thinking about doing Tampa this year.
Yeah, I'll be at Tampa this year.
But I'm scared.
Why?
I'm just joking.
Oh, I was about to say that. I ain't never seen
Florida,
that in you.
So I was thinking about doing I actually have to change. I actually realized that the show I was prepping for is the wrong show. That's pretty sad to say, but we all make mistakes. So I'm actually pushing my show back to either I'll probably do Atlanta or Tampa Pro.
I'll be at
I
them
really
both.
don't want to do Tampa Pro. I don't even know who's going to be there.
Don't worry about it. I'll give you the list. I got you. I'm going to be at both of them.
Fuck around and the hurricane be there and I got to do her. Like, goddamn, your big ass showed up.
No, that's what you want. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what you want. So
I don't mind it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Then I can really get realistic and be like, all right, this is my first time stepping on stage with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Now I actually, as a wellness pro, I wouldn't even know what would the improvements be. They'd be like, so I would really be stepping on stage for the first time as a wellness pro just to see what the judges be like. Okay, so this is where you're like. That's all I really. So for me I can easily say, oh, we going to get an Olympic. Like we can always, dream, hope, and wish. I want to get on stage and win. Like I can't even say it. I don't like saying stuff is far-fetched because anything can happen if I put my mind to it. And that's what I said out my mouth. I can manifest whatever I want. Now, if I said I was like, I want to do this show, but I got to remain realistic to do one show and to get Olympia. It's not unheard of, but I'm in uncharted territory. I don't even know who's showing up to this show. Not that I care, but you know what I'm saying? So I wish that my first show could be Olympic qualifier, but so long, some people, anyways, I ain't some people.
I get it.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to start rambling, but I'm not scared. But I feel like I don't know why I feel like I have something to prove. Like I feel like if I got my pro card, and I probably shouldn't put that type of stress on me, but I feel like if I'm going to do a show and if I'm not trying to beat everybody on this goddamn stage, what was the point of doing it? And some people be like, oh well, just to see what the judges say.
No, I'm not doing that either. I'm definitely not wasting the prep.
$2K to see what people say. Right. I can go find 4 judges right now outside of this and be like, let me know what the improvements are now. Because what? Right. But anyways.
I get it. No, I'm with you 100%. So I got another. So let's move into who you are, period. So please explain to me. So I just want everybody to know why I trip off this daily, right? Every once in a while, Karmen does everybody a favor and she goes on her Instagram story and she goes, let me rate your cheat meal, ask me a question. She does something where I feel like she just stirs the pot, right?
I love it.
So recently she goes, hey, what's your cheat meal? And people are like putting this ridiculous shit into her.
Oh, it was.
So, and people are like telling her what her cheat meals is and she's rating them. And even some of the combinations was a little bit weird to me, but hey, I'm not eating this, so it didn't matter. But I noticed that you answered every question literally. And what I mean by literally was instead of you typing it, you would like come on and like speak the truth of how you felt. I noticed that when you communicate to your audience, you also are letting people know your truth on a lot, whether it's funny, whatever the case may be. How did you become comfortable in your skin doing that? Because I don't feel like you can do that at work. Like you can, I don't know, I've never been in the service.
Oh no, I do it when I'm not at work.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So like, when did you say to yourself, hey, I know I'm in the service. First of all, thank you for serving the country. We greatly appreciate that. But when did you go, hey, I can still be me. I can still communicate these things in this manner and not care what people think, say, nor do?
I just always I feel like it's my platform. And notice I'm not saying anything too like wild. And I don't do it in my uniform. If I'm going to say something, if I'm in my uniform, I tend to be a little bit more, we don't do too much crazy. I don't do too much content in my uniform because I don't want people to associate what I'm saying with the Army. But at the end of the day, I know you're going to laugh. But as a drill sergeant, we were allowed to say whatever we wanted. So as a drill sergeant, I was be able to be myself. I didn't have to filter my thoughts. And I feel like there's so much freedom in not caring what other people think. So like, I used to do this saying to my trainees. I used to say it like, who gonna beat my ass if I say this? No one. So that's why I just get on and be like, so what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know what I mean? And I think it's fun. If I say exactly, I just feel like this is just me. It's just freeing to say exactly how you feel. Because it's on the internet, you know? You can't do nothing to me.
You ain't never lied. You too far away.
Yeah, right.
So
You do nothing to me.
I think another great thing that I've learned about you as well is you're a mom. So
Oh, yeah.
you're also giving this energy to bodybuilding. You're giving this energy to the country. You're giving this energy to your children. How do you find balance?
There is no balance.
Okay.
It's just chaos to me.
Okay.
It's always feels like I'm juggling. Like you ever see like like I have like many hands, and then something always I found out really like trying to balance all these things, there's always something that's going to fall. So I always feel like I'm not doing enough here or I'm not doing enough here. But I found like I'm good in chaos. I'm good under pressure. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm always gonna be a survivor. You know what I'm saying? Anything I put my mind to, I'm gonna do. So if I have to do these several things, bodybuilding is a choice. You know what I mean? I chose to do that. You know what I mean? I had my kids. My mom was here to help me, but I don't know. It's not even balanced. It's just chaos, and I thrive in that. That's fine. You know what I mean?
So what do
And
you
then I added
say to the
and then I
mom?
added bodybuilding to it, and I'm like, oh.
What do you say to the mom that's struggling with trying to be the bodybuilder with the chaos? Like, what's your advice to her? Because again, I'm a coach and I hear it all the time. Like, Frank, I'm a single mom. I'm this, I'm that. I don't think I can. And I'm like, no, it's possible. But I'm telling them from a coach's aspect. Can you explain to us from a mom aspect to give them the encouragement that they need, what that looks like?
I'm getting chills. I would say like there's no need to be perfect. Like there's for some reason for specifically I'm speaking to Black females, there's no need to, we feel like as Black people in whole that we have to be exceptional in every single thing. That's what I've been taught. Like I have to be exceptional in every aspect of my life because you know what I'm saying? That's just I always feel like that. But I feel like for me to tell them, it's like you don't have to be perfect. All you had to do is show up and do as best as you can. And that's all. You know what I mean? That is it. That's all I do. I wake up and I keep doing it. Sometimes I don't want to wake up at 3:30. Sometimes I don't want to get my kids ready for school. Sometimes I don't want to get them, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired. I am tired. There's some days where like it's the middle of the day and I'm just exhausted, but I keep going because, you know, I just keep going.
I greatly
I'm in
appreciate
love.
that.
I'm in love with the sport. I love my kids and everything. So to them, just one, like I tell people in my inbox all the time, like one day at a time, one step at a time, you know, and then you turn around. I've been bodybuilding for like 2 years, turn around and you look like a whole different person. And that's what I did. I can show you pictures from what I looked like when I first got to Hawaii to now. You'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So, and then I think about it sometimes, I'd be like, it's crazy. But all I did was I kept waking up at 4 a.m. I kept showing up.
That's dope.
I ate the food I was supposed to do. I did the cardio I was supposed to be. Now I'm in love with cardio. I can do cardio with my eyes closed.
That's
You know what I
up.
mean? So just one step at a time. And then eventually you'll become exactly the person you want it to be. And that's how I look at myself. That's why I'm like, why you go so hard? Because I am finally the person that I've always wanted to be. And I finally look like what I always wanted to be. So when people tell me like a superhero, I'd be like, y'all know the hours, the sweat, the tears I put into this. I remember my first prep, cardio almost took me out. I remember crying in the locker room because, I don't even know why. I was just, you know what I'm saying? But I won. But I won that fight. You know what I mean? And then every day, I don't want to say every day is a battle for me, but I damn sure if it is, I win because I made it.
I noticed this happens to you a lot as well. And I'm going to bring it up because I believe it is a sensitive subject, but I also know it's a subject that needs to be addressed across the board because people just don't understand our lifestyle. What do you, well, I already know how you respond, so I'm not worried about how you respond because I see that shit all the time. Why do you feel like, one, it's so important for people to continue to ask whether or not you're a natural or not?
I just think, you know what I mean? To be honest,
I know why they asking the question.
I don't understand.
I do. I know why. Trust me.
I don't understand what's the so obsession with that. Because the thing about it is, it's like they can't fathom someone being naturally looking like that. My coach that I have now, once I dialed in my first show, he called me a genetic freak and walked away because I look like that and it took nothing. to look that dry, that shredded, that peeled. Like, we didn't do much. Maybe the most things we did, if you want to call, we used a diuretic. That was mostly we did. But I don't know what's the exception of it's trying to the obsession. If I were using stuff, I had no problem telling people like, oh yeah, I'm on this, I'm on that. You want to know my stack? You want to rate my pee? But right now I'm like, this is how I naturally look like. And to be honest, if you knew what to look for, you should obviously, someone that knows their stuff should be able to look at someone and be like, yeah, she's on something. But me, no. I don't know why they asked that question. I'll just be confused.
I mean, the truth be told,
I feel like they can't fathom it. So they automatically do that. They do that to most females though. Once somebody gets, especially when they start leaning down really good, they'd be like, oh, you take steroids. Okay.
No, so the thing is, the naked eye just doesn't understand what it means to be lean. That's the first thing. The second thing is most normal people don't think we can achieve this in a normal rate. So therefore, because they never worked that hard, they never sacrificed that type of time in the gym, let alone their food or water or nutrition to make sure that all these components go together. So from a human standpoint, I totally understand it because people ask the question all the time. I think I love your responses because those are the things that drew me to like, yo, let me bring her on the podcast because I know so many, I ain't gonna say women, I'm gonna say so many moms need to hear this because I get a boatload of questions from women all the time that's moms, and I'm like, you're just following the wrong people. Like, you're just not your network isn't long enough or isn't big enough, or you just don't have connections with the right people to understand, like, all the things that I'm telling you are obtainable if you are willing to sacrifice some things that just don't sound normal to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I had a lady reach out to me today, and I said, I'm definitely going to ask this question because I knew you would give a straight answer for this podcast today. And I've had this question asked to me 3 times in a week, so I know it's a real thing. Moms are at a point where they're like, I want to compete. This is the question I get all the time. They're like, hey, Frank, I want to compete. I've had 2 children. I feel like my body is going through these things. I noticed that when I get on stage, when I look at the women that's competing, they look like this. Maybe they've done this to their body. How do you feel about breast implants? And I'm like, I don't feel one way or another because I personally don't have to get them. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you feel about them? You know what I mean? And then it's always, Frank, but do you think it's a need? And I'm like, I really don't know. But I said, but you know what? Today, I said it today when I was on a consultation. I'm going to ask a person that I know will give you a straight answer. And I said, you know what? I will let you know what episode it is that you need to watch because I know she will tell you the truth. So first of all, let's just address all of it. Like, when you look at the women that's doing the BBLs, when you look at the women that's doing augmentation period, the lipo, the lip filler, whatever the shit is, I don't care. What do you feel, what do you have to say to the mom that wants to do that?
Which part? The BBL or the breast?
You can break it down if you want.
I try not to say too much about BBLs. BBLs is actually one of the most highly dangerous surgeries ever. So that's why I don't recommend that surgery. Plus the thing that you want to, you can just go into the gym. It might take you like 3 to 6 months, just depending on what you look like. I just think it's a waste of money because you could have just put your money somewhere else. You didn't have to go through all that. Personally, I think that's annoying. Now with the breast augmentation, it's a little different. Like with a mom, I understand why you want that. Do you need to have it in bodybuilding? No. You can look at Sin from Figure, the Olympia 7-time. She doesn't have one. You can look at a whole bunch of people. It's not like check the blog. It just, some people feel like that's what makes their shape a little bit more symmetrical. Also, some people probably wanted implants way before they started bodybuilding and already had them. Some people use it to enhance. Some people go a little overboard. But I feel like it's not a need. No one's going to say, you need to go get a boob job. And if still coach is saying that, it's a problem because it's not a necessity.
What we looking for? Right. I totally agree. So, no, I get that question a lot. So I'm always like, trying to make sure that I answer questions not from my perspective, but from a woman's perspective when I have an opportunity to let the woman speak for, because I think it's important. You know, like I want women to believe that their voice is mandatory when they want to be doing certain things. And I want y'all to have y'all feelings validated. So it's like, let me ask the person that I know will speak truthfully, honestly, when I have those people on my podcast, to give them the floor so that they can continue to help this platform evolve, especially with the truth, you know? So I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do that. So before we leave, can you make sure, because you have a million different platforms, and I'm starting to learn that I'm popping up, I'm seeing them all the time. So,
well, you know, TikTok about to go goodbye. So,
oh, it is. All right, well, cool. If TikTok about to go back,
who knows? No, you talking about my Instagram?
Yeah,
it's most of my Instagram. You want me to drop it?
Just drop it. Yeah.
I mean, it's long. It's Karma is coming. You didn't even ask why I picked that.
Because we're gonna let you tell everybody.
Karma is
first.
Coming _ IFBB Pro. You said what?
We got to let you drop it, and then we ask you why you pick it.
My Facebook is Carmen Kalila, but I don't know.
Cool.
if you want to follow me on that. Why did I pick Karma?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that happened very weirdly. It's just a play on my name. It's a play on so it's also a play on my name and a play on Game of Thrones. So if you ever watch Game of Thrones, they used to always say the winter is coming, but you never know when the fuck it was coming. You just knew. But with the winter came all those. Anyways, I ain't gonna get into it. But I decided, I was like, Karma is coming. Because, you know, and then it's just Karma is always going to come around. But anyway, ego. That's also, it's like a triple play on words. And I was like, I think I'm going to keep that. So people really think my name is Karma too. I'm like, no, it's not. That's it. Just know that Karma is coming. People will just be waiting. They'd be like, I'm waiting for you to get up on stage. Dang, the pressure. I feel the pressure from like 40 different million people. I'm just kidding. Not that many.
I mean, but
like, dang, you think you step on stage? I hope I'm as good as y'all think I am. Because I'll be looking in the mirror and I'll be like, dang.
I mean, I'm letting you know now, I'm a fan. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you on stage. I'm looking forward to see your success. And I told you before, anything I can do to help you from my point of view, please reach out to me and let me know. I definitely want to tell you, thank you again for using some of your free time to come on my podcast and bless Treau Talks with your knowledge, your availability to be funny, truthful, and all the things. We can greatly appreciate that. Definitely want to say again, thank you for serving the country, because again, that is also an honor to be able to speak to someone that's a drill sergeant and in the Army and the service, and we greatly appreciate that. I want to say also, continue being a great mom, because, you know, even when we had our first introduction call, I was on the phone with you FaceTime, and I got to like watch you talk and put your kids' foods together at the same time. So like, yo, at least I know for a fact that you know how to multitask and get shit done. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, I think you're a dope individual, man. So I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity. And I want to say, everybody at home, please go follow this young lady. She's the truth. She's worth following. Watch the journey, because I'm watching the journey. Hope that we build more relationships from this particular situation. And just like always, baby, we at Treau Talks, and we out.